I've just registered for the Sunday Showdown. It's been going for around 40 minutes, and well, without any effort, I'm halfway down the field. Less than average because I'm only just starting and people have accumulated chips. But here we go. This is my first time in a long time I've been twitching, and it's taken a while to set up. Apologies for anything that's just not technically right at the moment, but we'll get there. Okay, so all I'm going to be doing basically is just talking a little about what I'm doing and why. Hopefully everything's set up properly and you can hear me. I haven't played in this tournament for quite a while. I'll just have a look at how many, what the average is. Okay, where are we? Let's see. Average stack just less than 6100. Largest stack 20, and oh, quite a few lower than that. But I'm just looking now, and 32, 30 players, 9,000 or more. Hold that one. Just keep looking at the stats here. I'm just going to go to page 5, which is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 per page. 90. So basically, lots of players in very similar position to me. There are only 20 or so with 10,000 chips. Right, normally when I play tournaments, especially when I play live, I play quite loose early doors, and this would be typical. I'm quite happy to risk losing ground early on, and then just basically just play pretty solidly after that and give it a go. Although having said that, I'm quite happy to just sit and be solid for the whole tournament right from the beginning. But I'm quite happy playing any style really. But 7-5 suited, that kind of hand, if it doesn't cost too much, I'm quite happy to, well, not waste, but invest a little. Pair of 10s. Here really I'd be hoping for, yeah, that's what I'd be hoping for. Hoping to hit my hand up against something like Ace King, or even that. That's okay. I'll just check. So I'm guessing my opponent doesn't have a pair. Just a little bet. Hoping he's calling with Ace King. We'll soon see. So what was I just saying about being prepared to lose a little ground? Gonna have a think about this one. So I'm now fixated with Ace King. There we go. even worse. Just didn't trust that bet. Obviously, you're going to be happy to lose. Well, not happy. You're going to be prepared to lose that kind of call. But it's been a long time now since I was afraid to make those calls. No point playing poker if you're going to back down every time somebody bets, especially if they were the aggressor pre-flop. So, not really made much difference. In fact, really, it's just going to make me even more speculative in future with suited connectors and little hands like that. There he goes again. Well, the speculating and speculating. Jack 5 suited. No. I should have known that he was going to be betting with a name like Buster. I always like to know where people are from, but nowadays I just don't believe half of what I see. Medellin, no way. Korea, probably. Moss. So even though if I put one on, I do put one on. 7-5 suited again. Out of position. I just don't trust the way he's playing. Here we go. We've got him to think about as well. Easy hand to get away from, so it doesn't really matter. Just giving him some of his money back. Although I'm probably giving this guy some of his money back. Often at this time, by the way, I'll be playing. Don't know if they're still playing it, but especially Sunday nights, it's a nice time to play. But every single night at 32 Red Poker, you can play the Flush Royale tournament, which is only three euro buy-in. It's a rebuy. Excuse me. And apart from the fact it's a nice, fun tournament for 32 Red players, that's every night at 7 o'clock UK time. It's also a very cheap way of qualifying for the Microgaming Poker Tour, MPNPT, as you might have seen it, because anybody who hits Royal Flush using your hole cards automatically with that one hand wins a €1,500 package for one of the tour events, which the next one's in Malta, 27th to 30th of April, I think. And then after that, I think it's the 20th to 23rd of July in Manchester. I'm not sure about the dates, but I know it's in Manchester. And quite a few players, at least certainly quite a few that I've seen when I've been playing on the tour, have qualified €1,500 package, which is the buy-in for the main event, which is €550 hotel for 2 people, by the way, for the duration of the festival is usually 4 nights. And they also throw in a buy-in for one of the other events, and at least a couple of €100 spending money and an invite to the Microgaming player party, which is worth going to. And they win that just by virtue of hitting a Royal Flush, which does happen a lot more often than you might think. So that's Flush Royale tournament that often you'll find me playing. Starts at 7. And it's sort of it's almost like a 32 Red family tournament, but there's quite a few players now. It could easily be 50 or 60, and it's good fun, decent prize money, €500 guaranteed. But thought I'd take a break and do this. If I'm going to sort of go out early. Not that I'm going out early now that I've entered an hour and 45 minutes late, but if you're going to go out early, you might as well do it in the biggest tournament of the month, or at least one of them. So, where are we? I'm still on 6,340, 77th. And the average, I will tell you, is, in a second. Oh, here we go again. I just find these things too tempting. Let's raise this time. I've not really done anything for... Oh, well, there we go. Almost disappointing to get that. I much prefer 8-6 suited to this. Here we go. The old poker adage, when you win a hand, raise the next hand. Don't know if it is an adage, I'm sure I've heard it somewhere, and if not, it is now. Well, it is from me anyway. And I'm up against Buster there. Well, we've got to look to be consistent. I sort of don't mind being out of position. And I sort of don't believe him again. Famous last words. That's not what we wanted. But I'm not going to bet it. Let's see what he had. I think if I were him, I might have been tempted to bluff. Given that he bluffed last time when I called. He might think that I'm not really wanted to call. I'm looking at hand history now. And he had an ace actually. He had ace and 4 of spades. They were all clubs, by the way. So he was on for a straight with a 3. Actually, he played that really quite well, I think. Let's get rid of that. I don't know really I'm not sure what the etiquette is on other people's hands. But I guess if we're playing nowadays, we're open to this kind of scrutiny. I'm getting a bit confused where my cursor is because I've got 2 monitors. I've got an extra monitor set up, and my laptop monitor is the left-hand side of what would be an extended screen. And so to go into the my extra monitor, I put the cursor over to the right-hand side, goes into the next monitor. But I've got them set up the other way around. So the left-hand side of my extended screen, as in my laptop, is on the right of the right-hand side of my extended screen, the monitor. Just because it's more convenient, but each time I want to put my cursor over to the left to get where my monitor is, and I'm going the wrong way. I've not followed this hand at all, which is a pity because it looks like it might have been interesting. Not for me, well it is now, but with a straight, but I wouldn't have gone that far. I've just noticed my avatar's a monkey or a chimp, which I don't usually play fun view tables, but my friend Nick, the poker manager at 32 Red, that's my stepdaughter saying goodnight. He likes fun view, and he chose for whatever reason a chimp. But I can see the others are worse. Right, I just can't resist but playing with this Buster, especially heads up. But you can't win them all. I'm just going to pretend to think now for a while. Have a drink. Not pretend to you guys, pretend to Buster. Okay. Now I don't want him to bluff because I'm going to have to call. I mean, fold. I'd be tempted to call, but no. Not this time. Let him think he's got that one. I'll give you that for free. Well, not for free, for whatever half of the pot that pot was that I gave. So what else can you do on 32 Red? Well, you can qualify. The flush royale isn't the only way to get a package. You can also win seats, which are for the Gaming Poker Tour, which they're always €550. And there are satellites that cost. You can select the whole. I don't think I know, and I'm not. It's not because I'm biased, but 32 Red certainly has the most player-friendly, comprehensive set up in terms of satellite structure to qualify for Poker Tour events. And you can start your quest for as little as €1, and every week you'll find sort of what they call final satellites, final qualifiers, where you can win 1, 2 packages, and sometimes specials. There's one coming up soon, 5 package special, where obviously the top 5 players will win €1,500 packages. He's just got another, and another nice pot. And there are also seat-only finals, and all these very good value. And you can keep plugging away, and there are satellites, what called feeder satellites, during the day, every day, for these final qualifiers. So you can build your. It's a little bit like the old step system, or at least it's been going for a long time, the step system. So you can start off with a very low buy-in satellite, feeder satellites as well, and just basically win your way to a place or a package for these big money poker tours that are very, very well organised, and they become increasingly popular, and it gives you a chance to basically to see a few different countries, from Sofia in Bulgaria. What else has been? Tallinn in Estonia, not just Eastern Europe, it's been even Morocco, which is probably the most luxurious venue that's played in poker for a while. And in fact, I think a friend of mine, I won't say who he is, but a friend of mine from Canada, he'd not ventured overseas, at least not this far, until he started qualifying for these events, and is sort of taking in the whole European tour. And the same player was playing on the fish party sit and go tables and the progressive jackpot tables a few weeks ago, and he was playing a €5 game. The whole point of fish party is that everybody pays a little bit of a contribution to the progressive jackpots, and you can play for one. All the games are 3-player sit and go games with one prize, unless the big money prizes such as this one. And you can play for 1, 5, 20, 1, 5, 10, 20 and €50, and each has its own jackpot, progressive jackpot. And he was playing on a €5 table, and I've forgotten what it was, but it was a 6-figure sum, the total prize money, and he won it. But even I think he got 60-something thousand, and second and third, even third gets something like 30,000. Whatever it is, it's thousands and thousands of times your buying, and that's fish party. And I think he qualified for one of the packages by getting, I could be wrong, by getting a royal flush in the Flush Royale tournament, and then he goes and wins the jackpot playing fish party games, which I'll be doing. I'm going to be playing on Twitch fish party. I'm not really sure I'm very good at those, but we'll see. But I'll be doing a few of those and telling you what I think about those as when time permits. But he's done very well playing at 32 red. Right, well that's obviously a no-brainer call. Same 3 players again. This is one of those awfully juicy flops that I'm not going to bet into, at least not yet. It would be lovely now if a King of Hearts came, or something like that. Now what? Wish I could find a friend. Well, let's call. Check again. I've got a pretty weak kicker just in case he's got an ace. He seems to have an ace, so we could be behind here, but shouldn't. It's almost tempting to go all in, but I'm afraid that wouldn't work. Now, hopefully, he doesn't have an ace, and he thinks that I'm going for some kind of draw, flush draw, sorry. and he's going to bluff the river. Or he does have an ace, and he bets. So I'm glad he didn't. Maybe I should have bet that flop. But I was hoping he didn't have a good hand again. Well, that's how it goes. We're still on 5400. How much was that pot for? $3,500. Don't really want to beat myself up too much about that one, but I've got a feeling I didn't play that one properly. Or at least I have a feeling I could have played it better. There's probably a better way of putting it. But we're still here. 94th of 176. A little bit strange because I've only been playing for 20 minutes and the tournament's been going for 2 hours. Excuse me. So where are we? Oh yeah, fish party. So fish party, you enter, so you choose your game. One, it's in the sit and go tab of the poker lobby on 32 red. So you choose your game, so 1, 5, 10, 20 or 50 euros. It's a lot of fun just playing even €1 tournaments are quite good fun, and you can still win a hell of a lot of money. So you enter, and then when all the players have filled they've entered, a little mini slots game, fish party slots game comes, and that determines what the prize pool is. So typically, if you're playing, for example, a €5 game, then a normal standard sit and go, €15 is in the pot, and €15 approximately will be given back. But quite a percentage of the prize pools of fish party games will be double the buy-in. So rather than 15 in total, the first prize and only one prize will be 10. But that's just a proportion of the total. So you could easily find that the first prize will be, then the next stage up from that, the next step up, is 4 times the buy-in, which would be €20, which is €5 more than the standard sit and go, and it just goes up accordingly. So every now and then, which is certainly not as rare as you might think it is, you'll pay your €5 or your €1, and the prize will be quite a few times more than the total buy-ins. And all but the bigger prizes, you're still playing for one prize. So it swings and roundabouts because the 3 of you gunning for one prize. And well, I was going to say what my strategy would be, but I'm not sure it's the optimal one. But I quite like it. But we'll see when I start playing more, especially on Twitch. Is to just get heads up basically, and hope you can outplay them from there, which is easier said than done. So I'd rather be heads up with half, like a 1-2 chip deficit, than playing all 3 of us and getting involved. So often I just wait for 2 players to back it out amongst themselves, and then see from there, because the blinds go up very quickly and it's very easy to reverse rolls and find yourself chip leader. It's also very easy to have like 1,200 chips and the opponent's got 300 remaining opponent, and within no time they just keep doubling up, and mathematically, well, you should call, and you find yourself losing. Well, that's just how these things go. It's just the nature of the game. But Fish Party, definitely worth a look. Certainly great fun, and a lot of people, especially this tournament, unless they get knocked out pretty soon, could go on for hours and hours. And a lot of people don't have that time, and sit and go tournaments are perfect for that, for people with a limited amount of time for a poker session. It's interesting, and it's certainly it's nice to know that there's not necessarily a definite ceiling to your winnings, or at least not a very low one as far as Fish Party games are concerned. So compared with a normal sit and go where it's a finite prize fund, it adds a little bit of spice to think that you could pay €1 and suddenly the prize pool could be €5,000, or pay 5 and it could be 100,000, or anything in between. So if you've got to spare half an hour and you can only afford that time, or 45 minutes or an hour, then a nice fish party sit and go session I highly recommend. So where are we? I'm more or less where I started. I think I was 90 something out of 180, and since then another 50 players have joined, and we're down to 170. And I've got, so I'll see again what the average is. So I'll put my cursor that way. Here we go. And the average is just over 7. So Buster's not doing so badly, is he? Chip leaders on 20, and only 30 or so, only 30 or so on 10,000 or more. And there are now 24 prizes, first one being 6,900. And if you make the prizes, it's 315. If you make the final table, how many players? 2, 4, 8. Final table, well, at the moment, we've passed the late registration. Final table is 870. Don't know why I'm looking at prizes, but there you go, just in case. I don't expect to be winning one of them necessarily. I was going to say it's monkeys and typewriters, given that that's my avatar, but I don't think that the monkeys and typewriters theory works anyway. And for those of you who don't know, it's if you stick a bunch of monkeys, I think it's that anyway, with typewriters and let them tap away at keyboards forever and ever, they'll eventually produce Shakespeare, which doesn't sound very feasible to me. I think there was one recently, I don't know if it's in Britain or America, where they actually did give chimpanzees typewriters and let them type away. And I don't think after hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, that any one of them came up with other than any one of them came up with a word consisting of more than a few letters. So poker isn't monkeys and typewriters either, despite the fact that I've got an avatar like one, and sometimes don't play as well as one. Here we go again, he's going to be my nemesis, Buster. And again, I'm going to call. I'll find out where my cursor is. There we go. And I don't want anybody else to play Krista. I know someone called Borg. Not Beyond Borg. Right then, once more onto the breach. Well, that was fun. We'll get him eventually. Just not there, and maybe not today. Paper bags as avatars, they seem to be quite popular, don't they? Looking at myself on webcam, I think I might do that. #102 out of 166. For any British players watching, I gave it watching the first episode of the third series of, what's it called, Line of Duty, to play this. And not only that, but the other people in the house, 2 of them tonight, decided not to watch it because they felt sorry for me and they didn't want to watch it without me. Which is, I told them not to, and now I feel a little bit guilty. And they've gone to bed now. Not children, by the way. Very busy. Busy Buster. Walter Spleen. Spleen. Is Moss in Norway? But yeah, I used to live in Norway for a while. Don't speak any Norwegian except for Yael Skadai or whatever. Lucky Leaf. I used to live in Switzerland as well. Sort of. So I'm going nowhere pretty slowly. I don't think I've been involved in any hands with anybody but Buster. Certainly not any interesting ones. As you can see from the setup here, I've got me, which if it was up to me, I wouldn't be there, and stuck a 30 red logo on. And then I was going to write something witty in the box on the top right there, and a little space left. And I couldn't size it properly. I'm just learning how to do it. I just left it. So it's a bit of blue sky and whatever's in the background of my monitor that just keeps changing. So there you have it. It was just going to be something random anyway. So. But I'm going to learn how to make it look a bit more interesting, or less interesting. As I was saying, I don't even use fun view tables. I don't really want to look at somebody with an avatar that looks like a New York policeman or a zombie or somebody with a Santa hat on. I like to keep things nice and simple, but fun view, there you go. I can see that it is sort of gives it a little bit of an atmosphere. I don't even know what that is. Another of those three settings. I think the rec room. I forgot what they are, and I write about this kind of thing every day. Rec room. Some kind of Vegas hotel. What is this? Is this a rec room? I don't know. What happened to Buster? It's gone. We didn't lose loads of chips, just been moved. That's a pity. Buster's gone. I'm going to miss him. Now I've got to find a new player to play poorly against. Oh no! We've both moved. I've moved with Buster. Is that a different Buster? No, I am confused. The avatar is different as well. I'm going to look at previous hands in a second. Well, when he left, he was on 4947. And it can't be anybody with the same name, so it's got to be the same one. And he's changed his avatar to that. And he's still got position on me as well. Okay. I'm sitting here thinking and taking my time, and I don't know where my cursor is. There we go. Let's play with Buster. Don't you just know it? Darush. Right, no messing about. Well, slightly, no messing about. Bit of positivity. I'm hoping that I've got position on Darush. So much for hoping that. I've only just arrived. I'm betting. And of course he's got a bag full of chips. Here we go. I'm going to bluff this one. Think and bluff. Ace King I've got. It's bound to believe me. Wait a little bit longer. And bet. And he's called. What's he got? Jack 9. And he's called. Well, that worked out well, didn't it? He didn't believe me. I tried to make a nice, modest-looking bet that wasn't too much. That tried to make it look like it wasn't too much, and he wasn't enough. Oh well, I'm gonna have to double up against Buster, aren't I? Second thoughts, maybe he's on 12,000 because he's calling bluffs on the river. I think he was going to call whatever I was doing there. If I'd have bet the turn. Maybe not, I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm going to have to play some more of these. There are only so many episodes of Line of Duty you can see. Buster's quiet. Live to fight another day. Maybe it's time now to just sit back for a while. I had a go, and it's time to, as they say, cricket, as Yorkshire people might say, play with a solid bat and stick at the old bat and just be solid for a while. Famous last words, and pick my spot. I'll pick my spots, hopefully. Jack 8 suited, on the button, Buster to my left, and hopefully nobody to my right. Hold. If you say it enough, they'll fold. There we go. Did I say I was going to play with a solid bat? Not when I'm on the button. And, well, I was going to say if I could play. I'm not giving Buster enough respect, but I like playing against that kind of player. And clearly, early on, he liked playing against me. But there we go. So we have another go. So Kebley, who's the chip leader? Let's see. He's the chip leader. Okay. I'm going to assume that someone on 2675 who raises has got a decent hand. And I'm going to call. Because nobody seems to be re-raising around here. Hopefully 2 limps. 2, 3 and 4 of spades. Everybody goes all in. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I just bet that's going to happen. Fair enough. So he raised, short stacked, and doesn't bet. And am I falling for it? No. I don't think I've seen it. Well, perhaps it has. And I should be noticing these things, but I'm too busy talking. But I'm not even sure I've seen Monson play anything, or at least next to nothing. So that was interesting to see a free-foot raise and then a check as the aggressor, and that was quite interesting. So maybe just playing ultra tight and hoping to steal there. I don't know. Can't remember what the flop was. Just seemed sensible to bet it once he checked. Races me up to 118th. So after stealing my chips, Darush has barely played a hand. Fold that one. There's a lot of folding going on. "15-minute blinds, I think. Is that right? I'll just check. 15-minute blinds. There we go. Betting structures. 15 minutes and we're on level 9. 75, 150. Ante's 15. And the next level starts in 3 minutes, and that's 100, 200. 10. Ante's 20. So 8 players, it's 160, 300, 416 a pop before we start. Did I just knock the thingy-majig? Almost tempting, but by the time I've got the cursor over, here we go. Too many limps. Spoil the broth. No raising, please. And Buster's fallen asleep. He's just waking up to press fold every now and then. Ah, look what I've got myself into now. Well, that's made a decision for me, hasn't it? Doge. Excuse me, pretend to think about it for a while. That was easy. I'm going to sneeze now, which is not good when I sneeze. There's a good chance I won't stop. Excuse me. I have something that's called, I don't know what it's called, but something like non-seasonal something or other, and I start sneezing, and often I'm well on the way to world record sneezing, so I'm trying my best now not to. Before I switched to poker, I used to play chess professionally, and even though a poker room, I don't mean sitting at home playing online, playing live in a poker room even though it's well, it's got a sort of a uniform, constant sort of buzz sound that's not at all off-putting. Chess tournaments are quite quiet, as you can imagine, and if you're sitting in a great big hall and there's about 300-400 people and you're sneezing every few seconds, it doesn't really go down well. Usually it doesn't matter here either when I'm at home, but don't want to record myself sneezing all night. Is it going to be myself and Buster? I've just got old Chiggy with a draw there. Let's raise before the break, just to keep him on his toes. So there's a break of 5 minutes. Oh, go on then. Oh, we could be out this end. Interesting. I'm tempted to go all in here. 2 draws. Overcards. Not that the queen's going to do me any good. I don't want to check and fold. Oh, there we go. I'll check. He's got something, hasn't he? One more, so I've only got 3. Let's make it 2. Another tempting one. Here we go. If I'm out, I'm out. I'm out. Oh, very nice. That really did serve me right. Well, there we have it. Perfectly timed for the break, and he was indeed my nemesis, wasn't he? Buster 7 there. So he played that really well actually, and I'm not too sure if I would have played the same had he been a different player. Yeah, he played that very well, and clearly I didn't. But lived to fight another day, and it seemed like I played for a long time, but actually I was not in the tournament for that long. But hope that was interesting. Well, probably not that interesting, but I hope that it gave a bit of an insight into how these tournaments can pan out, or not, as the case may be. So it's goodbye from me, and the next thing I'm going to do, probably tomorrow, is dive into the fish party and see how those tournaments, what the dynamics are, and what to expect in terms of trying to get your money's worth with fish party. And maybe next Sunday I'll be in this tournament again, who knows, but I'll certainly be playing some tournaments, so keep tuned in and have fun playing at 32 Red. And if you're not joined yet, click on one of my links and help yourself to both